Welcome back to another episode of Pop Culture Junkies. Today we're going to talk about first appearances. Let's go. Alright, so today, just based on some other interactions, I wanted to do a show around first appearances and kind of discuss some of my beliefs on the topic, some of the industry standards and otherwise. To start, I think some first appearances are pretty straightforward. You have some first appearances for people that are very easily explained. There's really no controversy or other discussion around it. Batman 567, this is the first appearance of Cassandra Cain, the best Batgirl. This one's pretty simple. She first appeared in this book. She's in the first cover on this book. Her first full appearance is here. You don't get into any of the cameo discussions or otherwise. This is not true for a lot of characters. Most characters don't get a cover appearance on their first appearance. So you'll typically have first appearance and first cover. And then other ones, you'll have the first cameo, which that gets very controversial, and we'll discuss that in a bit. So this is one kind of first appearance. So next, you've got Yara Flor. Her first appearance was not in Future State Wonder Woman. It was in Dark Knight's Death Metal. It was a cameo appearance. It was a little tiny blurb in like a thought bubble or something, or a flashback that Wonder Woman was seeing. Very, very tiny. This is really a cameo for all intents and purposes, but it's listed as her first appearance. First full appearance would be here in Future State Wonder Woman. And so this is one of those ones where there's kind of two, and the market starts to decide which one is the more sought after one. But this gives you another example, an idea of how these first appearances work, right? She first appeared in this book in Death Metal. She's not on the cover. Her first full appearance was here in Future State Wonder Woman, and this is a first cover appearance as well. Over time, this will probably be the more sought-after book, I would guess. All right, next, this is a big one, right? You've got Harley Quinn. This is not Harley's first appearance, though. This is Harley's first appearance in comic books. Her actual first appearance was in cartoons. So her first appearance was in a cartoon in the Batman Adventures cartoon. When the comic book series started, she didn't appear until issue 12. And then I think she doesn't appear for like another 2 or 3 issues before she appears again. And so this is technically her first comic book appearance. Keep that in mind. That'll be important later, but this isn't actually her first appearance in the DC universe. This, Batman Harley Quinn, is the book that introduced her into the mainstream DC Comics universe. And so she's kind of got 3 first appearances, right? You have wherever that original animation cell is, it's got to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in someone's house. And then you have Batman Adventures number 12, the first comic that she was ever featured in. And hers is easy again. She's right on the cover. And then you have her introduction to the mainline DC universe with this book here. And so she's kind of got 3 of those. She doesn't have that weird cameo thing that some people have. Next, you've got Punchline. And I brought Punchline just to put in perspective a little bit with Harley. Similar characters, similar role. So her first appearance is a cameo in Batman 89. It's a very, very small cameo in this book. In fact, I don't even think you can see her. I think you just see her hand or something. I can't even remember. Big shout out to my local comic shop. I Want More Comics. When this book came out, it was huge, super hot, flying off the shelves. People were buying multiple copies. I had actually gotten off the Batman books the week before this issue came out. Like, I had canceled it from my hold slot. And they knew how hot this book was, and they still put in my slot. It was selling for like $50 the day it came out on the shelf. It was crazy. And they put it in my slot for cover price. So huge shout out to Keith, Richie, Sean, the whole gang over there. Really appreciate the way they take care of you. In this book, you can see this one panel, this one piece of face right here. That's Punchline's first cameo appearance. That's what all the hype was about. You're the Villain, Hell Arisen number 3. Is her first full appearance of Punchline. She's got one of those weird cameo things, right? She first appeared in this book. Her real first appearance, full appearance, was in this book. Right now, I think Hell Arisen is the much more sought after book. Again, this Batman, it's literally her mouth on one page in one panel. Not a huge appearance by any means. For the full Batman collector, you'll want both. But for most people, they're going to want this Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen. it's the actual first full appearance of the character. The other character that kind of goes through the same thing, you might have heard of him, is one of the biggest characters in comics, and that's Wolverine, right? First cameo appearance was in Hulk 180, and they call it a cameo, although it's a full-on appearance. You can see the whole appearance of the character, his whole body, his whole frame, his name to introduce him, everything is in there. Hulk 181, he appears on the cover, and Hulk 181, of course, is the book that's taken off. That is the first appearance for all intents and purposes, but to the market. If you're going to buy one versus the other, 180 is way more affordable, but 181 is the key, one of the biggest keys out there today. And this really goes back to this idea of the market will decide, and this is what actually spurred me to make this content right now, because I had this debate with someone about a new character that came out called Captain Carter. And so what part of that debate was with that individual was whether or not this book was Captain Carter's first appearance. And so what you see here is Exiles number 3. This book came out in 2020, I believe, maybe 2018. And it had Peggy Carter as Captain America, right? Captain America costume, shield, she gets the super soldier serum, all that. She's with Blink here in the Exiles, whatever. And then almost 4 years later, 2 to 4 years later, Captain Carter comes out based on the What If cartoon show. And so you have this version of her stylized a little differently. She does not have the American symbolism. Still red, white, and blue, right? But Captain Carter here has the actual Union Jack, the real British stylization there. And so here you can see her full-on character on this book. And so people were really trying to sell this book as her first appearance, right? This is the first appearance of Captain Carter. But it wasn't, because her first appearance was here in Exiles 3. And while that's easy for me to say, people are like, you have a vested interest. I mean, I own both books. I don't give a shit. What I will tell you is that 2 years ago, this book, Exiles 3, wasn't worth anything. It wasn't until What If came out that this book had any sort of price jump. Before that, it was a dollar bin book. So I didn't make that decision. The market made this decision, and it happened the same as it did with Hulk, right? The same as Wolverine's first appearance. The market made that decision, and that's what's happening here. As much as people want to try to get over on people by passing this off and selling it as her first appearance, the actual market as a whole is putting the value on this book. So whereas it's my opinion, in one sense, it's also verifiable data from the market, right? And that's always who's going to decide in the end. What are people willing to pay for it? That's what they're going to believe the actual appearance is. What I had said at the time when I was having these discussions was, let's wait till after, Multiverse of Madness comes out for a few weeks. Markets and books tend to stabilize. They have their fall off. They drop, they normalize, and that tends to settle in to where they're going to be. And so now let's take a look at where we are with these. So when we look at the Captain Carter book, these are all sold listings on eBay. All I did was search for the book, Captain Carter 1, went to completed sales, right? Completed sold items. And here's our list. And so you can see the regular A cover is selling for $12. The 1 in 10 design variant selling for $7. If the market was dictating that this was the actual first appearance of this character, it wouldn't make sense for Exiles 3 to be selling for $90. What would be the point of buying this book for a throwaway character for $90? It's because this is her first appearance, guys. But even to put it even more plainly for you, when What If went into production was just after this comic had come out. Marvel as a whole doesn't tend to make mistakes, and they're very well thought out and planned out. So this idea of what if she got the serum, what if she got the serum, I don't think that was an isolated idea at all. And I think this was just something someone was given to kind of play around with this idea, but then they saw how cool it was and decided to do a whole What If and a TV show on it. And then they got to refine the idea into Captain Carter. The reason I told you earlier to remember that Harley Quinn example was just for this exact reason. Harley Quinn's first appearance was not her actual first appearance in the DC universe or otherwise. It was an appearance in a separate universe, in a separate animated universe, a completely separate comic book series, had nothing to do with any of the mainline DC books. Completely different. It wasn't until that actual other Harley Quinn, the Batman larger size book came out, the Batman Harley Quinn, that she became part of the DC universe. But her first appearance is that other interpretation, original interpretation of her. And so I see this in a very similar spot, and I think that's how it's going to play out. Now, the market could totally define something else. I could be 1,000% wrong. That's just not what the numbers are saying right now. And so when people argue this fact, it's like, I'm not arguing with you because I care which one it is. I'm arguing with you because you're giving people bad advice, right? You're telling people that the thing you're selling is something that the rest of the market doesn't believe it is. And it's just you trying to get over on someone. And I really hate people trying to rip people off in the comics community. It's very frustrating. First appearances can be a lot of ways, guys. They can be those small cameos. They can be first full-on character appearances, and then you have your first cover appearance, which is also tends to carry a little value. When you're really lucky, you get like all three in one, right? First full appearance, first full name drop, first full cover. Gives you a great first appearance. That's what this Batgirl was, right? All in one. Everything about this character is right here in this one book. Not much controversy or debate around it. But then you have something like this, and people can interpret it different ways. At the end of the day, what people are going to spend is going to decide what it is. That's it for now on first appearances, guys. Hope you like this content. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.